What's going, guys? Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Deep Exploration Code. Today I want to show you in this video how to build in Blender rocks from scratch, step by step. After that, I will show you how to add snow to these rocks. After opening Blender, I click on N to open the sidebar. Then I select the screencast keys. And finally I check on the screencast key. Next, I click on N again to hide the sidebar. This step will allow you to know which button I click. After that, we delete the cube by clicking on Delete button. We go next to Edit and we click on Preferences. Then we go to Add-on and we write Extra. And finally we check Add Mesh Extra Object. And to finish, we close the window. Now we go to Add, then to Mesh, and we click on Rock Generator. Or we can do the same thing by clicking on Shift+A, and then we go to Mesh, and we click on Rock Generator. We get a rock. To change the parameters of the rock, just go to Add Rocks, then change the parameters you want. Here are the parameters I changed. After choosing the parameters, I will rotate the rock by clicking on the R button. Then I move the mouse to make it rotate, and then I click with the left mouse button to fix it. Let's now move the rock by clicking on G, then on Y, and by moving the mouse we move the rock, and then I click with the left mouse button to fix it. Now I will show you another way to make a rock. First, click on Shift plus A, and then go to Mesh and click on Icosphere. Next, we change the subdivision value to 5. After that, click on Modifier Properties and click on Add Modifier, and then choose Subdivision Surface. Now click on Render Properties and then switch from Eevee to Cycles, because it gives us a better rendering than Eevee. You can also make the background of the scene transparent if you want, but for our example, we won't check it. If you have a GPU, you can select GPU to get faster rendering results. Now go back to Modifier Properties and click a second time on Add Modifier, and then click on Displace. Afterwards, click on Shift plus A, then go to Empty and select Plane Axis. And give a value of 1.5 to radius. Next, click on S and move the mouse as follows. You will see lines appear. Then click on Numpad 1 and then on the G button and finally on the X button to move it on the X axis as follows. Now select the icosphere. And in this place, click on New to add a new texture. Next, we rename our texture and give it the name Rock 2. After that, in Coordinate, we choose Object. Then click on Eyedropper data block and select the empty object. You will see the name empty appear in the object box. Now we will change the strength value to 0.35. After that, go to Texture Properties. And in Type, choose Musgrave. And we will change the following values. Now let's select our rock. Next, click on Shift+D to duplicate our rock. Then click on Y and move the new rock to the right along the Y axis. we notice that the shape of the rock changes because it is influenced by the empty object. This change allows to get a rock with a different shape to the original one. By clicking on the left mouse button, you will fix its location. Now let's go back to modifier properties and click on 2 to remove it. This means it is no longer linked to the first rock. Next, click on apply to set all the parameters to this rock. We also click on apply for the first rock to set all these parameters. Note that when you click on apply, this will mean that if you click on Shift plus D, you will have a rock. That will be duplicated, but when you move it, no change will occur, so you will have an exact copy of the first rock. Now, let's remove the fourth rock we created. We will enlarge our first rock by clicking on the S button. Next, we will move it to the left by clicking on G and then on Y as follow. After that, we will move the last rock to the right by clicking on G and then on the Y as follow. Here are the 3 rocks we have created. Now we will add materials to our rocks. To do this, go first to Shader Editor, then click on New to get a new material. Notice that we have selected the rock on the right to apply this first material. Click on Add, then on Search and write Ramp and select Color Ramp and connect it as follow. Next, click on Add, then on Search and write Musgrave and then click on Musgrave Texture. We will also choose Noise Texture by going to Add, then to Search and write Noise. We are also going to choose Mixed RGB by going to Add, then to Search and then write Mixed. Now we are going to select Color Ramp and by clicking on Shift plus D, we are going to duplicate it. We are now going to connect them as follow. Afterwards, we go to add, then to search, and we write mapping, then select it and connect it as follow. After that, go to add, then to search, and write texture coordinate and select it, then connect it as follow. We notice that the material appears on the rock, however, it doesn't really look like a rock. Before we set the parameters for each node, we will first add a bump and connect it as follow. Then I set the following parameters to make it look like a rock. Now click on Display Render Preview. We notice that it doesn't really look like a rock. To solve this problem, you just have to set the parameters. Here is how I did it. First, I set the light as follows. Then I set the material parameters as follows. Here is how I made my first rock. Now we are going to add a material to our second rock, but adding some moss to it. To select the rock, first we choose the rock that is in the center. Then, without doing everything from scratch, we will select our material that we have made. We will give a name to our first material. Then we will apply it to our rock in the middle. After that, we will duplicate color ramp and noise texture and mixed RGB, and we will connect it all as follow. Now we will adjust the following parameters. In Mix RGB, I choose Difference. You will notice that the two rocks change material at the same time because they are linked. I wanted the center rock to change and not the first rock. To solve this problem and separate them, just click on 2 to remove this link. Now let's go back to our first rock and remove the nodes we added from the second rock. Then let's go back to our second rock and we will rename our material. And then we will set the parameters of each node as follows. Here is the second rock. Now let's add a material for the last rock. For this last rock, we will copy the material of the second rock and we will apply it to our last rock. Then we will increase the moss effect on this rock by adjusting the following parameters. By the way, don't forget, as I just did, to click on 2 next to the name of the material in order to separate the materials of rock 2 and rock 3. Here are the 3 rocks we just finished. Now I am going to show you how to add the snow simply. The first thing to do is to go to Edit, then Preference, then click on Add-on and then write Snow. And finally, check on Real Snow. Next, close the window. After that, click on the N button. A sidebar will open. Go to Real Snow. You will notice that there are two parameters to modify if you want. The first one indicates how much snow it covers, and the second one is the thickness of the snow. For the first rock, here are the parameters that I set. After choosing the value, click on Add Snow to add snow on the rock. We will then choose the second rock and add snow to it too. But this time we will apply snow only in a part of the rock. To do this, select the rock and go to Edit mode. Then click with the left mouse button on 3D view to deselect everything. Then click on the button C so a circle appears. Next, by clicking without releasing, select the areas where you want the snow to be. After that, click on Escape. Now, go back to Object mode and fix the snow parameters. Then select Faces and then click on Add Snow. You notice that the snow has been applied only on the area where we have selected. For the third rock, we will choose the snow parameters and then click on Add Snow. If you want to know how the snow has been made, just select the snow, then in Shader Editor go to View, and then click on Frame All to see how the snow was made. You can also change the parameters of the snow to learn a little bit more. I am now going to adjust the camera view in the following way to get a render of the three rocks. To finish, go to Render and then to Render Image to get an image. As the rendering took me a bit of time, so this part of the video I had to speed it up. You can, after having obtained the final render, save the image. Here is how I made the 3 rocks covered by snow. If you enjoyed this video or learned anything, leave a like, subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video update. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time.